They say blood runs thicker than water, but no one warns you what happens when your own blood becomes poison. My name is Ethan, 42 years old, and my life unraveled when my own brother stabbed me in the back, stealing my company's groundbreaking idea and leaving me teetering on the edge of ruin, only to vanish into the night as my parents branded me the villain. I live in a modest condo in the outskirts of Portland where fog blankets the city most of the year. I'm a software developer, a job I cherish deeply, even though it keeps me up so late my eyes burn. I work for Innocence, a startup in downtown Portland, where everyone dreams of creating something world-changing. I'm not one to boast, but if I had to describe myself, I'd say I'm proud of pouring my heart into every project, as if it were my whole existence. The project I've been devoting myself to is an AI system called Veritas. It sounds high-tech, but the concept is relatable. I want to create a program that helps people find answers to their problems faster and more accurately. You've probably been there before. If you have a question, you search online and a flood of results appears, but you don't know which to trust. Veritas will change that. It's like a wise friend who sifts through billions of data points in a split second, selects the most reliable answer, and delivers it to you. For example, if you're wondering, how do I repair a cracked windshield? Or how do I start a small business on a budget? Veritas will provide a clear, trustworthy solution without wasting your time. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? At my company, everyone has high hopes for Veritas. My boss, Rachel, once gripped my arm in the conference room and said, "Ethan, if you nail this, our company will soar to new heights." The pressure is intense, but I thrive on it. I love the rush when I crack a tough problem, when I see the program running flawlessly on my screen. Some nights, I sit alone in my condo with only the sound of my typing and the fog outside my window. But I feel fulfilled. To me, Veritas isn't just a job, it's a dream I've been cultivating. My condo is cozy, cluttered with programming manuals and a few chipped tea mugs. On a shelf, there's an old family photo from my childhood, but I rarely glance at it. I don't often visit my parents in Salem, not out of resentment. We've just drifted apart. I have a younger brother, Liam, 34 years old, 8 years younger than me. Liam is the carefree type, loves clubbing, and is currently jobless, relying on our parents. We used to be tight, but now we've gone our separate ways. Liam rarely texts, and I don't reach out either. Maybe deep down, I've always sensed a divide between us that can't be closed. One evening, it was a Thursday night, with the usual misty haze settling in. I was at my desk tweaking Veritas, a cold mug of tea beside me. The sound of foghorns in the distance calmed me. Suddenly, my phone buzzed with a text from Liam. "Yo, Ethan, need to crash at your place tonight. Cool?" My stomach twisted. We hadn't spoken in months, and now this? I hesitated, then replied, "Sure, come by." The buzzer sounded, snapping me out of focus. I glanced up from my screen, puzzled. Who could it be at this hour? It was nearly 11 o'clock, and I'd only just agreed to Liam's visit. I stood, threw on a jacket to fend off the damp chill, and shuffled to the door. Peering through the peephole, I froze. Liam stood there, his jacket drenched, hands shoved in his pockets, looking uneasy. I opened the door, a mix of shock and wariness hitting me. "Liam, what's up?" I asked, my voice betraying how strange this felt. We barely saw each other, let alone had surprise visits like this. Liam shrugged, flashing a strained grin. "Just in the area, thought I'd swing by. Been a minute, huh?" His tone was light, but something felt off, like he was masking something. "You didn't say why you needed to crash here," I pressed, leaning against the doorframe. Liam's eyes darted away. "Just some drama with mom and dad. Needed a break, you know?" His vagueness only deepened my unease. I let Liam in, trying to act welcoming despite the questions swirling in my head. My small condo suddenly felt tighter as he stepped inside, bringing the scent of damp air and a faint trace of vape smoke. Liam glanced around, his eyes scanning the piles of manuals, my laptop, and then pausing on my glowing screen. "Still chained to your laptop, huh, bro?" he asked, his tone half playful, half mocking. I gave a faint smile and nodded. "Yeah, work stuff. Sit down. Want something? Tea? Water?" Liam shook his head and sank onto the couch, hands still in his pockets. We chatted, but it was surface level. Liam rambled about his buddies in Salem and some clubs he'd hit up. I listened, nodding, but my mind kept drifting to Veritas. "So, what's this big project you're always on about?" Liam asked, leaning forward, his eyes glinting with a curiosity that felt too sharp. I tensed, unsure why he cared now. "Just an AI thing, helps people find answers faster," I said, keeping it vague. Liam smirked. "Sounds like you're trying to play God, bro." His words stung, but I brushed it off. At one point, I stepped into the kitchen to grab some water, leaving Liam alone in the living room. When I came back, I caught him at my laptop, his fingers skimming the keyboard. The screen was still on, showing Veritas's interface. My pulse spiked, but I forced myself to stay cool. "What are you doing?" I asked, keeping my tone casual, not wanting to sound accusatory. Liam flinched, turned, and smirked. "Oh, nothing, just curious. Your tech stuff looks kinda dope." He stood, acting like it was no big deal, and quickly shifted to some random, pointless anecdote. "Stay off my laptop, Liam," I said, sharper than intended, stepping closer. His smirk faded, and he raised his hands. "Chill, man. Didn't touch anything. Why so paranoid?" The air between us crackled with tension, but I let it go, not wanting a fight. I nodded, not pushing it, though a spark of unease flickered inside. Liam was my brother, and despite our distance, I trusted him. Or at least I wanted to. We swapped a few more words, then Liam got up, saying he had to bounce. "Catch you later, bro," he said, slapping my shoulder before stepping out the door. I watched him fade into the foggy night, a strange feeling lingering like a chill creeping through a crack. I returned to my desk and checked my laptop. Everything seemed fine, no signs of tampering. But as I scrolled through Veritas's logs, my heart sank. A file had been accessed during the 5 minutes I was in the kitchen. My hands shook as I double-checked. It was Veritas's core algorithm. "No way," I muttered, my mind racing. Had Liam done this? I wanted to call him back, demand answers, but he was already gone. I told myself I was overthinking, that Liam was just nosy, nothing more. But deep down, a quiet sense of dread began to take root. I didn't know it then, but that moment when I left Liam alone with Veritas, I had unknowingly opened the door to a storm about to hit. 4 days later, my world imploded. I was at Innovex's office, parked at my usual desk with Veritas's code filling my screen, when Rachel stormed in, her face tight as a drum. "Ethan, conference room, now!" Her voice was icy, not the usual warm tone. She grabbed my arm, pulling me aside before we entered. "Ethan, this better not be what I think it is. You swore Veritas was secure." Her words hit like a slap, and I stammered, "Rachel, I don't know what's happening, I swear." Her eyes narrowed. "You'd better have answers, or you're done here." My heart raced, a bad vibe surging inside. I stood, trailing Rachel, my mind spinning. What was happening? The conference room was compact, but the air felt heavy, like a weight crushing me. Rachel, 2 board members, and the technical director were there, their eyes boring into me like I'd committed a heinous act. On the big screen was the logo of Cyberpulse, our biggest rival. Below, it was a software interface that looked eerily familiar. It was Veritas, or at least a near-identical copy, from the button layout to the color palette. The only difference was the name, Pure Answer. They had launched it that morning with a massive ad campaign, touting it as the ultimate solution for instant, accurate answers. I stood rooted, as if I'd been sucker punched. This can't be," I stammered. Rachel fixed me with a piercing stare. "Ethan, care to explain? This is your project. This system was supposed to be locked on our servers. How did it end up with Cyberpunk?" I shook my head, my throat dry. "I don't know. I swear I didn't do anything." But my words felt weak, like a whisper in a gale. They didn't buy it. The technical director, Paul, slammed his fist on the table. "Ethan, we trusted you with this. Do you know what this leak means? We're finished." His accusation burned, and I shot back. "Paul, I didn't leak anything. Someone else got in." Rachel raised a hand, silencing us. "Enough. Ethan, you're the lead on this. If it wasn't you, then who?" I froze, Liam's face flashing in my mind, but I couldn't say it. Not yet. The board ordered a full system audit, tracing every access point. Rachel was blunt. "Ethan, if this leak came from you, accidentally or otherwise, you know what's at stake." I nodded, but inside I was seething. Losing my job was secondary. Veritas was my life's work, the result of countless late nights, the dream I'd built, bit by bit. How could it have slipped into someone else's hands? That afternoon, I was temporarily suspended pending the investigation. "Go home, Ethan," Rachel said, her tone softer but still distant. "We'll be in touch." I packed my things and left Innovex in the Portland fog, my mind numb. On the drive home, I scrolled through my phone, seeing CyberPulse's ads flooding social media. Pure answer. The solutions you need, instantly. Each word stabbed at my chest. Back at my condo, I collapsed onto the couch, staring at my laptop screen still displaying Veritas's interface. A wave of despair hit me, but I refused to surrender. I had to figure out what happened. Then, like a flash, the image of Liam at my laptop that night surged into my mind. His awkward grin, his shifty eyes, his fingers on the keyboard, and that accessed file in the log. It couldn't be a coincidence. No way. Or could it be? I shook my head, trying to dismiss the thought. Liam was my brother. Even if he was directionless, even if we were estranged, he wouldn't do that. But the suspicion stuck, like the damp chill in my bones. I grabbed my phone and dialed Liam, my hands trembling. It went straight to voicemail. "Liam, call me back. We need to talk. Now," I said, my voice shaking with anger and fear. No response came. I stood, grabbing my keys. I needed answers, and I'd start with Liam. No matter how painful, I had to face the truth. The fog thickened as I drove to Salem. The I-25 highway blurred in my headlights' glow. My mind churned, pieces falling into place. Liam at my laptop, his forced grin, his evasive eyes. I tried to reject the idea that my own brother could betray me, but every detail clung like the mist on my windshield. Liam never cared about my work, so why the sudden interest in Veritas? Why the unannounced visit after years of barely talking? My parents' house in Salem was unchanged, a simple two-story with a faded picket fence. But what stopped me cold was a shiny silver sedan parked in the driveway, gleaming under the streetlight. Liam was jobless, living off our parents. No way that was his car. Was someone visiting? I knocked, and Mom opened the door, her hair messy, eyes wide with surprise. "Ethan, what are you doing here so late?" I forced a smile, exchanged small talk, then got to the point. I asked about the sedan outside. Mom sighed, defensive. Liam said he got a loan from a friend to buy it for job interviews. But Dad, slouched in his recliner, cut in. "Don't pry, Ethan. Liam's doing his best. Don't make it harder for him." I looked at them, a chill settling in my chest. From childhood, my parents always backed Liam, no matter how much trouble he stirred. I'd grown used to it, but now, with Veritas, my life's work stolen, their favoritism stung like a fresh wound. "Mom, Dad, something's wrong," I said, my voice low but urgent. "My project was stolen, and I think Liam knows something." Mom's face hardened. "Ethan, don't you dare start with that. Liam's been through enough without you pointing fingers." Dad stood, glaring. "You've always been jealous of him, haven't you? Just because you're the big shot now." Their words cut deep, but I held my ground. "I'm not jealous, I just want the truth." "Where's Liam, Mom? I need to talk to him." Mom frowned, her voice tense. "He's upstairs, but what's so urgent?" I didn't answer, just climbed the stairs, my heart heavy. Liam was sprawled on his bed, phone in hand, earbuds blaring music. When he saw me, he sat up, smirking. "Well, look who's here. Big bro checking in. What's the scoop?" His tone was breezy, but I caught the unease in his eyes. I took a deep breath, staying calm. "Liam, when you came to my place, what did you do with my laptop?" He shrugged, giving a mocking chuckle. "Do? What do you mean? I was just curious. Your tech stuff's dull as dirt." I stood there, locking eyes with Liam, keeping my voice steady despite the anger simmering inside. "Liam, Veritas was stolen by CyberPulse. That night you were at my place. What did you do with my laptop and that sedan out there? Where'd the money come from?" Liam shot up, his face reddening, pointing at me. "What are you getting at? You're accusing me of stealing? I just looked at your laptop. I didn't do anything." "The car? I got a loan from a friend. What's that got to do with you?" His voice grew louder, echoing in the small room. "Stop lying, Liam," I snapped, my control slipping. "I checked the logs. Someone accessed Veritas's core files while I was in the kitchen. You were the only one there. Liam's eyes widened, but he doubled down. You're crazy, Ethan. You've always looked down on me, thinking I'm nothing. Now you're making stuff up to ruin me. I couldn't hold back and stepped closer, my voice rising too. Liam, don't play dumb. You're jobless, living off mom and dad, and suddenly you've got cash for a sedan. Cyberpulse unveiled a system identical to Veritas just 4 days after you were there. You sold it, didn't you? Liam backed away, his eyes sharp like a trapped animal. You got evidence? No. Then don't smear me. You're always like this, thinking you're the hotshot while I'm just a loser. Our shouting rattled the hallway. Mom rushed up, Dad trailing behind, their faces etched with worry. Ethan! Liam! What's going on? Mom yelled, stepping between us. I tried to explain, my voice catching. Mom, Veritas is my life's work. Our competitor stole it, and I think Liam's involved. Mom turned to Liam, her gaze softening. Liam, tell me, is it true? Liam shook his head, his voice shaky but firm. Mom, I didn't do anything. He's framing me. Dad grabbed my shoulder, his voice low but sharp. Ethan, enough. You can't accuse your brother without proof. Liam's trying to get his life together and you should be helping him. Mom wrapped her arms around Liam, patting his back like when he was little. Ethan, you're doing big things, but don't let the stress turn you against your family. Liam's your brother. You're choosing him over me again, I shouted, my voice breaking. You've always done this, Mom, Dad. He steals, he lies, and you act like it's nothing. Now my life's work is gone, and you're still defending him? Mom's eyes filled with tears. Ethan, how could you say that? We love you both. But her arms stayed around Liam, and that said everything. I stood there, watching my parents shield Liam, my heart splintering. Growing up, I was always the self-reliant one, while Liam was the one who needed coddling. He stole cash, flunked out of school, caused chaos, but my parents always made excuses. I'd gotten used to it, but now, with years of my work stolen, their bias cut deeper than ever. If my family doesn't believe me, I said, my voice cracking, then I have nothing left to say. But I'll find the truth, even if I have to do it alone. I turned and walked downstairs, Mom's voice calling after me. But I didn't stop. The Salem fog was thick, seeping through my jacket, but the pain in my heart was colder still. I knew from now on I could only rely on myself. I drove back to Portland through the mist, my heart heavy as stone. The sound of my parents defending Liam, his defiant glare, all of it sliced into me like a blade. My condo greeted me with silence, but it offered no solace. I sank onto the couch, my eyes landing on the family photo on the shelf. Mom, Dad, Liam, and me, 20 years ago when things seemed simpler. Or so I'd thought. Memories flooded back, sharp and painful. I was 12. Liam was 4. A cheeky but endearing kid. I remembered when Liam broke Mom's favorite lamp, glass shards scattered across the floor. I got scolded, sent to my room, even though I'd just been nearby. Liam's still young. You need to watch him, Dad said, his voice firm. I nodded, swallowing my tears, though I couldn't grasp why I took the blame. Later, at 17, Liam swiped money from Mom's wallet for video games. Mom knew, but just tousled his hair, saying, "Don't do it again." I stood silent, the sense of unfairness growing. By college, working 2 jobs to cover tuition, Liam had dropped out, partying and getting into trouble. But my parents always excused him. He's still young. He'll grow up. I never held it against them, just worked harder, thinking if I was successful enough, they'd see me, but they never did. That night, unable to sleep, I opened an old journal from college, flipping to a page where I'd written about Liam. He's reckless, but he's family. I'll always have his back. The words mocked me now. I slammed the journal shut, my chest tight. How had it come to this? I closed my eyes, trying to shove those memories away, but they clung like Portland's endless fog. Then, amid the turmoil, a spark of clarity hit. Veritas, the system Cyberpulse stole as pure answer, wasn't the finished version. I recalled clearly that before Liam's visit, I was fixing a glitch in the query algorithm. It caused Veritas to occasionally spit out wrong answers, especially for intricate questions, I hadn't patched it, so the data Liam took would carry that flaw. I sprang up, rushing to my laptop, my heart racing. Opening Veritas's interface, I checked the faulty code. As expected, the glitch was still there. If Pure Answer was built from my data, it would have the same weakness. I tested it with a tricky question. How do I invest in emerging markets with minimal funds? Veritas returned a flawed answer, recommending a fund that had collapsed. If Pure Answer did the same, it would be a critical vulnerability. I immediately called Mia, my closest colleague at Innovex. Mia, listen, Pure Answer might have a flaw. I need your help to verify it. Mia hesitated. Ethan, you're suspended. If Rachel finds out, I cut her off. Mia, this is my only chance to save Veritas. Do you trust me? She sighed, then agreed. Fine, send me the details, but you owe me tea. As we worked, Mia's voice crackled over the call. Ethan, if Liam did this, what are you going to do? He's your brother. I gripped the phone, my jaw tight. If he did it, Mia, he's not my brother anymore. He's just a thief. The words felt like poison, but I meant them. All night, Mia and I worked remotely, analyzing Pure Answer's public test runs. As I'd predicted, it gave incorrect answers to several complex questions, mirroring Veritas's glitch. I clenched my fist, a flicker of hope igniting inside. If I exposed this flaw, Cyberpulse would pay. This was the lifeline I had to seize if I didn't want to sink. The next morning, I stood outside Innovex's building in the light mist, my heart a mix of resolve and nerves. I was suspended, but I couldn't sit idle while Veritas, my life's work, was exploited by Cyberpulse. Taking a deep breath, I walked in, ignoring curious glances from colleagues. I needed to see Rachel and convince her we could turn the tide. Rachel was in her office, papers strewn across her desk. When she saw me, she frowned. Ethan, what are you doing here? I told you to stay home. I got straight to the point. Rachel, Pure Answer has a flaw. It was built from Veritas, and I know the flaw because I hadn't fixed it yet. If we expose it, Cyberpulse will collapse. Rachel eyed me, half dubious, half curious. Are you certain? If you're wrong, the company's reputation is on the line. I nodded, my voice steady. I'm certain. Give me and my team a chance. We can do this. After a long pause, Rachel nodded. All right, call your team. But Ethan, if you're wrong, it's not just you. My neck's on the line too. I smiled for the first time in days. Thanks, Rachel. I won't let you down. I rallied Mia and the tech team, 5 colleagues who'd been with Veritas from the start. In the conference room, I laid out the flaw in detail. Pure Answer's query algorithm gave wrong answers to complex questions, especially in economics and medicine, due to a data processing error I hadn't fixed. We'll dig deeper, gather proof, and go public, I said. Mia nodded, her eyes sparking. Cyberpulse has been hyping Pure Answer like it's flawless. If we drop this, they'll be blindsided. All day we worked tirelessly. Mia ran hundreds of complex questions through Pure Answer, documenting the faulty responses. I and 2 other engineers analyzed the stolen codebase, confirming it matched Veritas down to the smallest details, including the flaw. By evening, we had a comprehensive report. Pure Answer not only gave incorrect answers, but also made risky recommendations, like suggesting investment in defunct firms or wrong medication dosages for hypothetical patients. I pitched a PR plan to Rachel. Cyberpulse spent millions marketing Pure Answer. If we expose the flaw now, the press will eat it up. They'll lose all credibility. Rachel agreed and looped in Innovex's media team. 3 days later, we held a press conference. I stood before the crowd, my voice shaky but firm. Cyberpulse's Pure Answer is unreliable. It gives wrong answers, putting users at risk. Here's the evidence. Mia presented the examples, and the press erupted with questions like a tempest. After the press conference, the news spread like wildfire, and Cyberpulse crumbled like a house of cards. Their stock tanked, clients bailed, and the media tore into them relentlessly. Innovex seized the moment, announcing that Veritas would launch soon with a perfected, error-free version. I was reinstated, not just to resume the project, but to lead the development team. Rachel clapped my shoulder in the conference room, a rare grin on her face. Ethan, you saved the company. Now finish it. A major deal with a Bay Area tech giant came through the following week, and my name was hailed as Innovex's hero, but the victory was bittersweet. One evening, as I reviewed code in my condo, my phone buzzed. It was Mom, her voice trembling on the edge of tears. "Ethan, Liam's gone missing. Some men in dark coats came to the house asking about Cyberpulse. They threatened us." She said Liam owed them a massive debt. I sat frozen, my grip tightening on the phone. "Mom, who are they? What's happening?" Mom choked back sobs. "They said Liam sold some data, but ruined their plans. Now they're after him." "Ethan, why did you drag your brother into this?" "Drag him?" I shouted, my voice raw. "Mom, he stole my work. He sold Veritas and left me to take the fall. How is this my fault?" Mom sobbed harder. "He's your brother, Ethan. You should have protected him, not exposed him." My heart felt crushed. I knew Liam had sold Veritas to Cyberpulse, but I hadn't realized he was tangled with something darker, possibly dangerous people. "Mom, I didn't drag Liam into anything," I said, my voice firm but pained. "If Liam chose that path, that's on him." Dad cut in, his voice furious through the speakerphone. "Ethan, you've destroyed this family. You went public with this, and now Liam's on the run while we live in fear." "Destroyed the family?" I shot back, my voice trembling. "Dad, I built something incredible, and Liam tore it down. You've never once stood up for me, not when he stole, not when he lied, and not now." I took a deep breath, trying to stay composed. "Dad, Mom, I was protecting my work. Liam betrayed me, not the other way around. If you want to blame someone, blame the one who did wrong." I hung up, my heart heavy. The image of Liam, the little kid who used to trail me around the park, crying when kids teased him, flashed in my mind. But I no longer saw that brother. Liam had chosen his path, and now he had to face the consequences. I heard from Mia that Cyberpulse was conducting an internal probe, hunting for the leak's source. Liam was likely hiding somewhere, living in fear. Part of me felt a twinge of pity, but a larger part was resolute. I couldn't keep carrying the weight of someone else's mistakes. My parents didn't call again, but I knew they were still being harassed. Once, Mom sent a brief text, "Ethan, help Liam. He's your brother." I read it, then deleted it. For the first time, I felt no guilt. Growing up, I was always the overlooked child, the one who had to stand alone. Now, I chose myself. In the weeks that followed, my life slowly found its rhythm, but it wasn't the same. Innovex became the talk of the industry thanks to the Cyberpulse scandal. Veritas was completed swiftly, and when it launched, it surpassed all expectations. Companies from Portland to Boston lined up to partner with us, calling Veritas the future of reliable answers. I was promoted, leading a new team, and for the first time, I felt my efforts were truly seen. At the company's celebration party, Rachel raised a glass with me, laughing warmly. "Ethan, you're a legend. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I smiled back, but an emptiness lingered in my heart. My condo was tidier now, but the family photo was stashed in a drawer. I no longer wanted to see it. News of Liam came in brief, sporadic texts from Mom. He was still on the run, possibly in a distant state, living in the shadows of those hunting him. Mom said Liam called once, his voice frantic, but he wouldn't say where he was. One night, my phone lit up with an unknown number. I answered, and Liam's voice rasped through, panicked. "Ethan, I messed up, okay? I didn't know they'd come after me. Help me, please." My heart pounded, but my voice was cold. "You sold my work, Liam. You ruined everything. Why should I help you now?" He sobbed. "I'm sorry, man. I was desperate. Please, they'll kill me." I clenched my fist, torn between rage and the ghost of the brother I once loved. "You made your choice," I said, and hung up. The silence that followed was deafening. My parents lived in constant fear, their doors always locked, their phones buzzing with unknown numbers. They stopped contacting me, but I knew they still blamed me, as if I'd pushed Liam down that path. I didn't explain further. Words couldn't fix what was broken. Sitting alone in my condo, watching the Portland fog drift outside the window, I reflected on everything. I used to believe family was a sanctuary, that blood would always hold us together. But Liam taught me that blind trust, even in family, can lead to pain. He betrayed me not just for money, but out of selfishness and an envy I'd never noticed. My parents, with their skewed love, had unknowingly fueled Liam's mistakes and the rift between us. But I also learned something greater. Sometimes protecting yourself is essential. I stood up not just for Veritas, but for my self-worth. I was no longer the quiet boy who swallowed injustice, no longer the older brother who always yielded. I chose my own path, even if it was solitary, even if it meant severing ties that once held me close. Now, every time I open Veritas and see it helping millions find answers, I feel a sense of peace. Not because of the success, but because I know I did the right thing. The fog still lingers, but I no longer feel cold. I found my own answer: to live true to myself, no matter the cost.